So the Denver Nuggets took a stranglehold of the Western Conference last night with a victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves in what was a really entertaining and really good basketball game. Very well played on both sides, and it was close most of the way. I think at one point, either third or fourth quarter, Denver's biggest lead was 4, and then they just absolutely piled it on late. And this was not that he needs it, not that there is a requirement or any doubt as to who is going to win MVP, but this was a statement from Nikola Jokic, and in a broader term, the Denver Nuggets last night. But this was Jokic being like, look, this is cute. You guys want to finish first, and you might still. And it's cute, like, oh, best defensive team in the league and how, doesn't matter. I'm going to miss more free throws than I'm going to miss field goals in this game. He was tremendous. And it's like, if we came on here and did a show every time Jokic was tremendous, then it would just be, that this would end up just being a Nuggets podcast. But the way that he was able to just take over in that fourth quarter, allowing the Nuggets to really take over, because there was a lot of this game was played with Minnesota being out in front and the Nuggets really chasing things. But Jokic in the fourth quarter was like, you know what? Let's just win. You know, and I kind of said this yesterday about SGA being like, yeah, we're not going to lose this game. Jokic is like, well, that's cute. I'm going to show you guys why I'm the best player in the world, why this is still the best team in the league, and why anyone considering taking our throne needs to apologize, because it was so impressive what he was able to do. Obviously, his distribution is elite, right? Like the offense runs through him. And how he is able to play make, his shooting ability, and all of it. And what really impressed me was Denver was able to take Minnesota out of the game plan that they wanted. Early on, it was very clear they wanted Naz Reid on Jokic and have Gobert be on Gordon and kind of act as a bit of a center fielder and a guy out in the middle, just like, yeah, I'll take care of anything that is coming to the rim. And Minnesota's defense was incredible in this game. We'll get to that in a little bit. But then Denver was able to get Reid in a little bit of foul trouble, and that forced Gobert to get onto Jokic. And then immediately, I don't know if Jokic had another paint touch, at least a possession that started with him in the paint the rest of the game, because he knew Gobert wasn't comfortable coming out to the three-point line, so Jokic lived out of the three-point line. And there was a couple times early in the game, Gobert would get on him and kind of back off a little bit, 3 immediately. It's just like he is a computer program. Like it's what you learn in computer science at like a grade 9 level. If this, then this, or if yes, then this, if no, then this. He is so like immediately, as soon as he sees, okay, this is there, then that's there. This is here, then that's going to be there. Like it's automatic for him. His basketball IQ is extraordinary, legendary even, how he is able to read things and execute so well. And it's okay, well, Gobert's going to back off, immediately 3 and it goes in. Gobert's going to come up on me, all right, I'm going to try to drive, or that means the paint is open, let's pass it to a cutting MPJ, and let's get a basket that way. And they were able to really take Minnesota out of their game plan, and really for the first time make Minnesota look a little discombobulated on the defensive side of the court. And that is a very difficult thing to do against one of the better defensive teams in the league. And also, like, I don't think Malone gets enough credit for how well he has coached this team up. There was just such an exceptional play that really kind of put a seal in this one. Brown late was just like a highlight reel, putting up some incredible possessions that helped win them this game. But they had a play where it was like Jokic is at the top, Murray is screening for Brown, who it was Brown is screening for Murray, and Murray kind of circles around it and goes back behind Jokic. So they're using Jokic as another screen. The 2 defenders are going to go double off of that and just try. We're going to have 3 guys on these 2 dudes, and it left Brown wide open on a cut down low. Quick up, basket, boom. He threw it down with great vigor, and at that point, it was over, and they were just basically toying with them. But this was such an incredible fourth quarter that Jokic would just go at Gobert, the top defender in the league, guy who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and just absolutely eat him up in that fourth quarter. If Gobert was on him and covering him tight, he was just driving at him. No one does that against Rudy Gobert, and a lot of them were going in, and then he was getting fouls. And I think he got the benefit of a few whistles in that game for sure, but he's the best player in the world, and he's going right at this guy and putting the referees in that position to have to make a decision. So I was just it's again, you know what it is. But I was so impressed with what we saw from Jokic last night. And you know what? Murray was pretty strong there as well. They had him on a minutes restriction, and so there was concern about the non-Jokic and Murray minutes, and they actually extended the lead in both of those. And that was an absolute failing by Minnesota, which again we'll get to in a second here. But for Murray, like, he is so good shooting off the dribble, and he is such a great complementary piece with Jokic. They just have a phenomenal chemistry and an understanding of where they are at all times in this game, and it's such a delight to watch. And I think Murray being out there with the bench units when Jokic is resting is going to be again, some very important minutes for Denver, but I think Murray's scoring ability, it's going to give them the edge in those. For Minnesota, this was a game that they looked really, really good in for most of it, and then it just fell apart late. And you can certainly make reasons for that. They're coming off of a back-to-back, Denver was too, but you're coming off of a back-to-back, they get into Denver late, and it's fucking Denver. So mile high air and all of that. So they definitely wore down there. But for 3 quarters, it was a delight watching them defend. They had Denver in all sorts of knots, with turning the ball over and forcing Denver into a lot of mistakes that you just don't see this team make. And like, Gobert has such an ability when he is doubling off of someone, he still comes to the ball in a way where he stays in the passing lane the whole way, and it's so incredible to watch. And it feels like they have 8 guys out there, because they'll go double a guy, and then you think, okay, well, I got this pass and the rotation's already there. It's like, okay, well, then this one and the rotation's already there. Like, their ability to read out on the floor and their execution, obviously along with the athleticism that it takes to just be everywhere at all times, it was smothering for Denver at times. And so that's why it felt like Denver was really playing catch up in this game. But I thought where Minnesota really lost it was in the non-Jokic minutes, where normally that they said on the broadcast when Jokic is out on the floor, he and the Nuggets are plus 12 per game. And when he's not on the floor, they're minus 9. And in this game, I think both instances with Jokic off the floor, the Nuggets actually gained some points. And that was such a big deal, because that was your real opportunity. It was Gordon and the bench that was out there. And Gordon wasn't doing anything in this game. Gobert basically took him out. But this was a real missed opportunity when it's Gordon and like Watson who's blocking everything. So offensively, Minnesota can't get anything going. But Denver was making some shots in some big moments. Reggie Jackson didn't play a particularly good game either, and they still could not take advantage of those non-Jokic minutes. And then where it really lost them, their half-court offense just bogged down in the fourth quarter. And some of that could be fatigue for sure, coming off of the back-to-back. But this one, and I think he's incredibly talented, but this one's a little bit on Anthony Edwards. He was silent in that fourth quarter. And this is where they missed Towns, right? Because that is an offensive presence that I think would help them out in that fourth quarter as well. And this was quite a bit of adversity for Minnesota. And really the only one going offensively for them was Mike Conley, who can be a very good complementary piece, but when he is the focal point of the offense, that becomes a problem. And that's what it was in this game. Edwards couldn't get anything going in the fourth quarter. Gobert, that's just not his game. And so when Edwards isn't going, this offense really does kind of slow down. So if this is the Western Conference Final, it's going to be a blast, because Minnesota played a hell of a basketball game and just fell apart a little bit late and didn't have Towns. He would presumably be back by the time these two teams would face off in the postseason. But this was a ton of fun and an absolute statement win for the Denver Nuggets, who are now in the driver's seat again for top spot in the Western Conference.